Welcome, everyone. Another rousing beer review. Beers of the world. See the world through a bottle of beer. Well, we've got an interesting. I don't think too many people have ever tried or even know that the Italians make beer. And they make good beer. Now, I'm not sure about this brand. There was another brand of Italian beer that I'm trying to remember the name of it right now, Patron or something like that, that actually is very good. This is a beer that has the company. I'm not even sure how you pronounce the word of this. Isusa? Isusa? Kind of strange. Doesn't sound very Italian. This company started in 1912. It's another lager beer. The ingredients in this, as usual, is an interesting mix, which is water, barley malt. Obviously, that's most two ingredients. Hops and corn. I didn't even know they made beer from corn. Corn, again, tends to be sweet and has its own different flavor. This is golden yellow again, which tends to always be a little bit of a warning. It states that it's tasty, light, mild, malty, slightly sour. Uh-oh, not good. Sour beer is bad beer. So we'll have to see how this actually tastes. And of course, you got to be careful of anything that's too yellow. Well, I can see this is pretty light in texture. And that usually means that if it's not really amber, dark amber, it tends to be a little bitter. I'm not sure how much sugar was put into it because you don't see a lot of foaming, which seems to be, if there's a lot of sugar, you get a lot of foaming. And it certainly is a lager in general. Let's just pour the whole thing so we can look at it. And let's take a look at the bottle here. Not sure what that face on there is. Kind of a bandana tied behind it. Almost looks like a sarda. Not sure what that means underneath it. Kind of an odd picture. There's some more on the neck if that means anybody that knows anything about Italy. And of course, here's the back label. Let's see if we can. Not much told there, just a bunch of ingredients. So let's take a little chug of this and see what we can get from it. Again, we need to let that taste go in your mouth for a few minutes. Try some more now. You got to let the taste buds open up and give you the full flavor of the beer. That way you're drinking the flavor instead of just guzzling it down because you're thirsty or whatever. Certainly you can do that, and beer is good for that. Well, I think describing it as they did, as slightly soured, is correct. And as far as I'm concerned, any beer that's sour is a bad beer. Beer shouldn't be sour. You've made this with corn. Maybe when you actually add sugars in, the beer develops too quickly and maybe creates some sort of sourness or bitterness. Now, the Germans don't do that, and their beers are all bitter by not adding sugar, so I'm not entirely sure if that's the case or not, but this definitely is a mediocre beer. Certainly is not something I would buy. I certainly wouldn't drink this often. I would give this, on the scale of 1 to 10, this is probably, I'd drink it on a hot day if I was on an Italian beach, looking at the waves. What was that, a French accent? I certainly wouldn't go out of my way. And if I had choices of different beer that I knew this was, of course, I would try anything that's local and new and different. But this is basically a 5. It's a mediocre beer. It is slightly bitter. And why drink anything bitter unless you're into that? So people who eat sour candies, eat bitter things. Well, if you like bitter, I guess that's up to you. Well, you can add this to your list. This is a bitter beer. And the bitterness of a beer stops the malty flavor. So all you're really tasting in the end is the bitterness. You're not getting the hops and other things that you normally would get from a beer. So I hope you've enjoyed that. Another trip to a foreign land through a bottle.